available in the chat should you have any questions, and then also with some presentation information himself. So once we step forward here, I will lay out right now our agenda. So our agenda will essentially focus on the creativity side first. So we're going to speak to Word, Excel, and PowerPoint as it accesses your calendar, your emails, your chats, documents, meetings, things like that, right? Copilot will walk you through all of that, and we'll kind of step into that world as well with regards to Outlook, Teams, Loop, and the Power Apps, and essentially look at how Copilot becomes your best friend through all of those applications as well. So once we wrap that up, we will take a look at the skills set as far as Copilot is concerned, and we'll look at Bing Enterprise Chat and Business Chat as far as how it goes into and essentially makes an assistant for you on the fly, right? With that, we'll kind of wrap up with the Copilot system and how it all works behind the scenes, and then take a look at that live Bing Enterprise Chat walkthrough with my colleague Sean. So with that, we will step right into it. So as we take a look at all of Microsoft's views around AI, you're looking at the transformation we've made here at Microsoft, right? So it's going to be unique not only to you, but also to us here, right? So the cloud itself is one of our biggest differentiators when it comes to how AI is driving that innovation, not only for us here at Microsoft, but also for you in the workplace as well. So what we consider the two ways that differentiation happens is first, here at Microsoft, we want to help you accelerate that productivity and capability by leveraging our AI solutions into your everyday needs, right? And then second, we're delivering those tools and services to you to help you build those intelligent apps and services while using our AI. So with that being said, that's essentially where Copilot was born, right? So that's where we bring in and showcase Copilot today and all of its power that it harnesses. So Copilot itself combines the power of large language models with your internal data, right? So Copilot will never go out and externally grab any information outside your tenant, nor use external information to train other language models, right? It takes it in conjunction with the Microsoft Graph and combines it with your M365 everyday apps, right? All of that is going to be harnessed and used through your natural language, right? You're literally telling Copilot what you want. There's no preemptive prompts you have to put in there or formulas. You're just saying, hey, can you highlight my data? Hey, can you create me a resume, and so forth, right? That's where the powerful productivity comes as far as what Copilot brings. So Copilot is integrated into M365 in two ways, right? First, it works alongside you, right? So on an everyday basis, you're looking at being more creative in Word, utilizing more analytics in Excel, being more expressive through your PowerPoint presentations, increasing the productivity level on Outlook, saving a lot of time there as well, and then enhancing your collaboration needs in Teams. So the next one that you really look at is the entirety of business chat, right? So business chat is going to work across all of your data and all of your apps, right? So this will sync in conjunction with your documents, your emails, your calendar, your chats, your meetings, your contacts, and essentially let you do things you've never been able to do before, right? And with all of that, it gives you that access to your business content in all up context, right? So again, you're just giving it natural language prompts like, for example, tell my team how we updated the product strategy. So from there, Copilot goes to work and it generates a status update for you to send out, whether you want to send it in a meeting, whether you want to send it in an email, whether you want to send it in a chat thread. It will automatically post that for you once you ask the Copilot system to do it for you. So it's as easy as that when it comes to just naturally giving that language prompt. As far as Copilot is concerned, on the security side, this is probably the number one question we're getting today, and rightfully so, right? So Microsoft 365 and its Copilot interface and backend is built on Microsoft's approach and guidance as far as security, compliance, privacy, and AI is concerned, right? So basically, you're looking at all of your, let's say, permissions, all of your fundamentals that are set up as far as compliance, things like that. Copilot sits on top, and again, it kind of takes precedence from those policies you already have in line. So it's not going to give access to somebody that wouldn't otherwise have access to certain items, right? The main thing to keep into consideration here is just what it says here. The Microsoft Cloud fully runs on that trust. And that's the fundamental promise that Microsoft has built from the very beginning, right? So the three fundamentals that I always stress when talking about Copilot is the first one is obviously the main one. Your data is your data, right? It's not Microsoft's data, it's yours, plain and simple. You own it, you control it, you choose how you want it to be leveraged and monetized, right? Second, your data is not trained or enriched with regards to external models or anyone outside your organization or other organizations coming in and benefiting from stuff that you've trained or stuff that you've used, right? Only your organization, when you enable Copilot, will benefit from your data and your business processes. And then finally, the third one, as far as the compliance is concerned, it's your data, your AI models again, right? So every step of the way, it's going to be protected by Microsoft and the most comprehensive compliance and security controls we have, right? And that's really what we commit from the start as far as Copilot is concerned. So with that, let's take a look into the wide world of Copilot and how it's working today.
Hey, Dustin, there's no audio.
Do we have it now?
Yeah, we're good.
Is the audio up, Sean?
Yeah, we're good.
Awesome. So the main thing I wanted everybody to kind of take away from that is from the start, again, you are in full control of Copilot, right? So when we consider the art and science of the Copilot prompt, there's four key fundamentals to remember, right? So you always want to start with the end in mind. So when I say that, start from explaining what you want, right? Nothing's going to be too complex for Copilot. Nothing's going to be too, let's say, short, right? Copilot, if it has an issue with it, will respond back to you asking if this is what you wanted. It'll give you recommendations, and it'll even give you next steps or suggestions based on what was input, right? So with that, it's up to you to set that stage as far as context or detail. Do you want to create a slideshow, but you want to reference a company template? Do you want to create another spreadsheet in Excel, but in the second spreadsheet, do you want more analytics to be shown, right? So from the start, you can always be in full control. And then when it comes to any parameters, when you're creating said files or when you're editing files or replying to emails, do you want to have it look in your calendar for open dates? So if someone emails you asking to meet on a specific time or date, do you want your calendar to be brought in and Copilot to automatically respond and send that email out with your availability? And then finally, again, with you in control, you can tailor your delivery. Copilot allows you to essentially control start to finish how it responds, right? So take, for instance, you're in an email and you want to reply to your colleague you work next to, right? So you're talking about something and it's just a short response like, thanks so much, I appreciate it, right? You can tailor it in Copilot if you were to take that response and let's say draft an email for maybe a CFO or CEO. You're not going to really want to be short. You're going to want to explain if they ask you a more complex question. Copilot adheres to that and realizes that you might be talking outside of your colleague or outside of your friend, right? And you can tailor those responses accordingly. So again, very powerful and very intuitive as how it looks at not only you as the individual, but also you and how you display results. So with that, we're going to take a look at the first section here in our 3-section canvas. So the first one being creativity, right? So we're going to learn essentially how Copilot works alongside you in those apps you use every single day. So think of Word, PowerPoint, and Excel.
Let's see how Copilot can use your customer notes in OneNote, as well as another internal document. Copilot gets to work and quickly creates a first draft. Now let's say you want this to look like your previous proposals. Copilot can give you a draft in the format you typically use. It inserts product images and pulls in relevant visuals from other files. You can include a short summary at the top of the document. And Copilot can make suggestions to strengthen the proposal, like adding an FAQ, which it will generate for you. Now remember, you're not going to send this off to a customer without a thorough review, but Copilot still saved you tons of time in the process.
So something to keep in mind there.
Let's see how Copilot can use your customer notes in OneNote.
So something to keep in mind there is essentially, as you saw, it's a complete game changer when it comes to Word, right? So when we're talking about Word, it can write for you, it can edit for you, summarize for you, throw in pictures for you, essentially create all of that for you on the fly, right? Again, you're just telling it in that natural language what you want it to do, and it does it for you and goes out and makes it even better. The next section here is going to focus alongside PowerPoint, right? So when we think of PowerPoint, sometimes we can get bored to death of slides. Sometimes we can take a little bit as far as inspiration lacking, right? How do we make things a little bit better? How do we make it more bright, more better for the story situation to become a better storyteller, right? And this will exactly do that for you. It's going to help you transform plain text documents into a complete deck within about 10 seconds.
Now let's say you're getting ready for your customer pitch meeting. Everyone has had a moment when they wish they could turn their proposal into a customer-ready presentation without having to start from scratch. Well, guess what? Now you can. Using just your own words, Copilot can translate Word into PowerPoint, and it can also translate PowerPoint into a Word document. Now you have a professional-looking presentation that you can hone and polish. Let's say you want to add a slide. Give Copilot some quick instructions. There it goes, ready for you to review. So this slide is too wordy. Let's ask Copilot to make it more visual. I'll give it a few seconds. And check this out. Copilot can even animate the slide. It gives it a professional design treatment in a single click. But it doesn't stop there. Copilot can even generate speaker notes. No, I'm serious, speaker notes. It's not only a time saver, it's helping me be a better presenter and close this deal.
So as far as that's concerned, think of it as not only time saving, but also ease of use, right? You're starting with a blank slate and within seconds, you're going out there and saying, hey, can you reference this Word file or this OneNote file with my notes? I want a slideshow. So in about 20 seconds, you have a slideshow now that you could send off to leadership, send off to a partner, whoever it might be you're working with. And now you have that full working deck along with speaker notes, along with images and the transitions and animations, things like that. Very, very powerful. The next one here, when we're talking about efficiency, right? This is probably one of my favorites for the fact that I myself, I am in no right a Excel guru, right? And most people aren't, right? It takes a lot of practice and a lot of knowledge to work inside Excel when you're getting into the weeds of, let's say, pivot charts and tables and all formulas, right? With that, all you're having to do now, again, is use your natural language and tell Excel what you want. So again, take a look here and see how this comes to play.
You start by asking Copilot to analyze the data and give you 3 key trends. Within seconds, you've got what you need, but you want to drill in. You ask Copilot to follow up question about one of the trends. Copilot creates a new sheet, helping you better understand what's going on with this customer. You ask Copilot to visualize what contributed to the decline in sales growth this period. Copilot adds a little color to make the problem jump off the page. Now you want to dig deeper and ask a follow-up question. Copilot not only answers your question, it creates a simple model of the scenario, and even asks if you want to learn more about what it did, with a step-by-step breakdown. Finally, you can ask it to create a graph of your projected model. Copilot turned a sea of data into clear insights and actions.
So as you saw there, within, again, seconds, right? Seconds, you have
You start by asking
everything as
Copilot.
far as the rich capabilities that you would normally have to, let's say, write out or have to formulate out, put together for you, right? So it generates those models based on your questions to help you explore your data even further, right? And so from start to finish, now you are, quote unquote, that guru without having to actually be the actual guru, right? So the next section we will take a look at now is the productivity section, right? So when we think about this, you're going to think about things like Outlook. You're going to think about Teams as far as meetings are concerned and calendar use. And then when we get further in, you're going to see things such as Power Automate, things such as Chat, Loop, all of those productivity options that can essentially save you more time, not only collaborating, but also being more productive. So the first one we'll take a look at is Outlook, right? So a lot of individuals ask themselves every single day is, well, really, how much of my time is spent going through Outlook, right? Copilot is essentially there to help you clear your inbox in minutes, if not seconds, instead of hours or days, right?
Now let's see how Copilot can help you tackle your email. We all struggle with the pull of the inbox. Sometimes it keeps us from focusing on our most important work, but at the same time, you have important emails to respond to. Copilot can help you separate the signal from the noise and give you hours of time back. Copilot can triage your inbox, highlighting the most important emails to prioritize. And Copilot also helps you on the go with Outlook Mobile. It can summarize long email threads. You can draft a reply, use data from an Excel file, and Copilot will generate a reply for you. You can edit it. You can make it more concise, change the writing style, or add more context. Now all that's left to do is review the proposed response and hit send. It's a productivity game changer.
It's very, very powerful when it comes to lightening your load, right? So as you just saw, from summarizing long email threads to quickly drafting that reply, took that user a mere matter of a minute, right? So again, that tool alone will help individuals save tons and tons of time. So the next one here we'll focus in on is the meeting section, right? Every meeting that we get, right, there's always that opportunity to be more productive and collaborate, right? But again, it becomes very difficult sometimes to keep up with all the chats and all of the noise in the background while the meeting's taking place, right? So now Copilot's kind of brought in to essentially change all of that as far as an experience for you.
It looks like you have a dentist appointment that conflicts with your weekly business review. What if you could do both? With Copilot, you can follow a meeting and catch up to see what you've missed, even if you can't attend. You'll get a notification in Teams when the recap is ready. You can see the content that was shared, detailed notes, and any action items. You see that one of your customers was discussed and want to learn more. You can use Copilot to ask clarifying questions, and it provides a detailed response. You can ask questions like why a certain decision was made, and it provides the context. You can even ask what other solutions were considered. And with every response, it provides citations with a snapshot of the transcript. It's a huge time saver. So that was pretty cool. But the real magic of Copilot happens during a live meeting. Let's say you're in a meeting with your team. You can ask Copilot to summarize the meeting so far. You can see how it summarizes who said what points were made, and it's really capturing the spirit of the discussion. And as the meeting progresses, you can check in on where people stand. You can even ask Copilot what questions were unresolved. It is just amazing to see this happen in real time.
So as you saw there, not only can you do it from a previous meeting by going through notes, you can also do it in real time. I think that's where the power really comes from, where you can summarize those key discussion points. Maybe you join the meeting late, who said what and where, and then you'll know and be up to speed in minutes as compared to joining in, maybe putting a pause on the meeting and saying, hey, what did I miss? Copilot can go in there and grab that for you automatically. So again, one thing to keep in mind when using Copilot, its power is really untapped, right? It's really what you want to give it as far as those results. The next one here, we'll focus in on the chat section and also Loop, right? So some more powerful ways for you to not only utilize Copilot, but also increase that productivity and collaboration with your colleagues.
Here you are asked for an update on the customer, and Copilot can help there too. You can simply ask Copilot to create a summary of all the customer conversations. It produces a summary with citations so that you can verify, refine, and post. You just received an invitation to brainstorm in a Loop workspace. Here the team is collaborating in real time on product offers and pricing, adding notes and action items to keep everyone on track and up to date. You can ask Copilot to pull data from Excel on the top-selling products by category. Another member of your team jumps in and adds a column. Anyone can prompt Copilot to build on each other's ideas. Everything is captured in prompt history. Now you can close out the action item and get ready to meet with the customer.
Very, very powerful when it comes to how that works as well. So you took something that was a blank slate again, you utilized Loop, you utilize the chat aspect to work with your colleagues, and you also brought in some aspects from Excel, right? You took that raw data and you made it into some more pretty looking tables for everybody to see as far as what they needed to do on their to-do list. So the next one here, this one is really, really powerful for the fact that obviously we have our Power Apps and our Power Platform, right? Microsoft introduced as a low-code solution, right? Taking it even further as far as Copilot is concerned, through Copilot, you can now use Power Automate as an essential part of work for everyone to use, because again, you're using your natural language and you're just telling it what you want as far as an outcome. It's a huge game changer, not only for an individual with maybe a little knowledge for coding experience, but also a huge game changer for the fact that, again, the whole business now can adhere to this and simply just type in native text what they want and get it out from Copilot. So let's take a look.
You've made the pitch, you've won the business. Now you need to deliver and be there for your customer. You want to be notified whenever there's an urgent support issue for your accounts, and you want to create a collaborative space for the account team to solve the issue together. With Copilot in Power Automate, you can automate both these things in minutes using your own words. As you review the suggested flow, it's looking good. With a little more direction, Copilot can help you write a summary of the problem, post that summary in the appropriate team's channel, and tag the right colleagues to resolve the issue. This now gets seamlessly added to my workflow, getting it just the way I want it. Here you can see it in action, with your post in a team's channel and the full team ready to jump in and resolve a delayed delivery for your customer. This is a serious time saver for every customer from now on, and you build it in just a few minutes.
Insane, quite insane, and insanely powerful as far as that's concerned as well. The time saving on just that is nuts. So we'll take a step now and go into our final category as far as our pillars. And this one's going to be all about up-leveling skills, right? So be better at what you're already good at, right? So when we're taking a look at giving people more knowledge, giving people more technology that's accessible through those universal interfaces, we consider the natural language, right? We think about how we talk on a daily basis, and Copilot is here to enhance all of that for us.
You can start by asking Copilot to summarize all your recent customer interactions, meetings, content you've shared, any issues, and deliverables. Copilot works across your calendar, emails, chats, documents, and meetings to find all the pertinent information. Now you've got a concise summary, complete with citations and sources. You can hover over names, quotes, and file names to verify information or find out more. Now you know product lead times are likely to come up, so you ask Copilot to help you prepare all the details. Copilot synthesizes everything you need so you can feel prepared.
Awesome. So as you saw there, it's very powerful for the fact that it's taking business chat and it's pulling all of the information from multiple sources to keep everybody on the team or the person you're talking with in chat or in the team's channel, whoever it might be, on the same page and moving forward. Not only does it bring that information in, it also gives you those specific placement points and reference points to where it pulled it from. So you have easy access to it. You can always sync that up with maybe a reply or show the user where you got the information from. So you spend less time focused on tools and more time focused on the important work you're really doing. So with that, we will take a look at Copilot itself, right? Let's take a look at under the hood, how it's working for you on the back end and how it works.
Microsoft 365 Copilot is powered by what we call the Copilot system, a sophisticated processing and orchestration engine. It harnesses the power of three foundational technologies: the Microsoft 365 apps, that's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Teams, and more. The Microsoft Graph, that's all your content and context, your emails, files, meetings, chats, and calendar, and a large language model, or LLM, a creative engine capable of parsing and producing human-readable text. All accessible through natural language. It starts with a prompt from you in an app. Copilot pre-processes the prompt through an approach called grounding. Put simply, grounding improves the quality of the prompt, so you get answers that are relevant and actionable. One of the most important parts of grounding is making a call to the Microsoft Graph to retrieve your business content and context. Copilot combines this user data from the graph with other inputs to improve the prompt. It then sends that modified prompt to the LLM. You may be familiar with what an LLM can do based on your experience with ChatGPT or Bing Chat. Copilot takes the response from the LLM and post-processes it. This post-processing includes additional grounding calls to the graph, responsible AI checks, security, compliance and privacy reviews, and command generation. Finally, Copilot sends a response to the user and commands back to the apps. Copilot iteratively processes and orchestrates these sophisticated services to produce a result that feels like magic.
So everything you just saw when I ran through Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Power Automate, etc., right? All of that is harnessed using our large language models and using the Microsoft Graph backend, right? Keeping everything secure. So when we think about that, we think about how we all bring that forward and keep your business data grounded, right? So again, you're giving it that real-time access to both your content and your context, right? It never leaves your tenant. So again, you're going to inherit the security, compliance, all the privacy policies you currently have set up through Copilot, because again, it's a user license. It's not a tenant license. It's based on the user. So whatever the user currently has access today, Copilot will adhere to those guidelines. Again, your data itself is secure. It's never leaving your tenant and never used for training purposes. So when it comes to everything you use on an everyday basis, it'll essentially stay the same, right? You still use Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, but now it's going to be more enhanced with that AI assistant in Copilot always at your side. So finally, it's up to you to essentially decide what you want, right? You're telling it what you want. Copilot goes out and gets it. And then again, it's up to you to decide to modify, maybe get rid of it, re-enhance it, do something different. You're in full control from the start. So as Copilot learns about your processes, it learns how to model its information translated back to you, right? So it's essentially like the absorbing younger sibling you have, right? The older they get, they want to be more like you or more like mom or more like dad, whoever it might be, right? They want to absorb all of that content and make it better. They want to be just like you, but better. So that's exactly what Copilot's doing for you. And to kind of give a better understanding, I would say, is how this works today, is something you already have access to. So I'll hand it over to my colleague, Sean Mikulski, and he'll show you exactly what you have access today, even before the November 1st push when we do our live GA for Copilot. So Sean, take it away, sir. Might be on mute there still, Sean.
Sometimes that helps. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sean Mikulski. I'm a cohort of Dustin here. So I'm coming today to kind of give you guys some insight into Bing Chat Enterprise. So for our customers that have E3 or E5, this is a new feature that Microsoft has released to your organization. And this kind of helps in the department of how your users are searching the web. Right. So Dustin just got done talking about, like how we use Copilot to gather information and create content within your M365 suite. Right. But what happens when your users are actually going to the public internet and they're doing search queries? Right. And those search topics could be anything. It could be, hey, we're just looking up a recipe for a company picnic we're throwing. Or it could be that a user may be copying content like Dustin was showing and pasting it into their browser to do searches around that content, right? So really where Bing Chat Enterprise steps in here is gives your organization a level of security and privacy that you probably don't have today, right? And one thing to keep in mind as I talk through this is that you guys most likely already have your data inside of a Microsoft data center. So there's a level of trust that we've already built between the two of us. So Bing Chat Enterprise just adds another layer of security into the mix for your end users. And this is just a license requirement that we need to turn on for users that we want to have this. New customers, this automatically is enabled for their tenants, right? Because this is Microsoft's posture moving forward in terms of browsing the web. So let's carry on here. All right. So we know that users are excited about using AI-powered chat to be creative and productive, but companies also have to be mindful about data leakage and privacy concerns, right? Now, in recent surveys, they've shown that 92% of technical professionals and business decision makers have already tried using an AI tool out there, right? So essentially, that's the vast majority of employees, right? And this was a survey that was done internally by Microsoft. But AI chat through public web services does not offer commercial data protection, right? So anytime your users are out there doing a search, whether it's Bing or even Google or Yahoo or Dogpile, whatever your favorite search engine is that all that information you're putting into that search box, right, is going to be harvested in some capacity here, right? And so that's something that we need to be mindful of, okay? The biggest problem with that is it can put corporate data at risk, right? So that's really the benefit of Bing Chat Enterprise here, all right? As a result, you may have even heard in the news that some organizations are actually discouraging employees from using the AI tools because A, they may not have compliance requirements around AI tools yet, right? Which is very common. I know like Gartner has not put out official, white papers on, Bing Chat or even Copilot yet, I believe, right? But that will be coming here. All right. So privacy is obviously a huge concern here when we're using the public internet here, right? So the Bing Chat enterprise experience here, right? So what I want to do is I'm going to play a quick little 1-minute video just to give you guys a little bit of a taste of what that experience looks like here. So let's jump into that.
Bing Chat Enterprise brings the power of generative AI to work. Consumer generative AI services like Bing Chat and ChatGPT are helping people get answers and generate content for everyday tasks, like organizing a 6-year-old's birthday party or planning a trip to Greece. But using consumer generative AI services for work inadvertently puts sensitive business data at risk. That's where Bing Chat Enterprise comes in. Bing Chat Enterprise, with commercial data protections, safely brings AI-powered chat to work. With Bing Chat Enterprise, user and business data is protected and will not leak outside the organization. It's encrypted in transit. Chat data is not saved. Microsoft has no eyes-on access to it, and chat data is not used to train the large language models. With Bing Chat Enterprise, you can be confident your business data is protected. Bing Chat Enterprise, AI-powered chat, now for work.
Awesome, right? So this is really where Bing Chat Enterprise comes in, right? With this AI-powered web chat, enterprise data is protected, first of all, right? And then the data does not leak outside the organization, right? Chat data is not saved, and no one at Microsoft has eyes on any of those search requests, right? Lastly, the chat data is not being used by any, and I repeat, any underlying language models, all right? So it truly gives your organization pure privacy when you're on the web doing your search results. But how do we do that, right? That's obviously, there's some things we have to take into consideration here, right? One is like, hey, we're probably gonna have to standardize what browser our users are using, right? Currently, Bing Chat Enterprise is available on the Edge browser and Chrome on your PCs. And then on mobile devices, it's available in the Edge browser. That will be expanding out to all major browsers, right? So the support will be there down the road. Now, there's essentially, if we take a step back though, quick here and compare the AI options that are offered by Microsoft, right? Obviously, Dustin already highlighted, Microsoft 365 Copilot, right? There's obviously a consumer version of Bing Chat, right? Anybody that goes to bing.com, types in something, hits the chat button, you're using the free version of Bing Chat, right? So this free version of Bing Chat is being used, that data's inside there is being used for large language models, right? So this is most likely what your users are probably using today, right? Now, by turning on Bing Chat Enterprise, now we get that commercial data protection. Oh, let me jump back here, that's too quick. Commercial data protection is included with the Bing Chat Enterprise as well as within Copilot. But at a bare minimum today, you guys can assign this license to your users. They can sign into bing.com with their work account, right? And then they're going to get a notification letting them know that they're taking advantage of Bing Chat Enterprise and the commercial data protection that it brings, okay? Now, a lot of people want to ask, well, how does this workflow actually work, right? So if we take a look at your Microsoft 365 tenant, right, in the upper left-hand area, Bing Chat Enterprise does not have any access to graph data in Microsoft 365 by itself, right? Once you bring Copilot into the mix, then that would have access to graph, right? But Bing Chat Enterprise by itself has no access to graph, okay? So that's by design. Bing Chat Enterprise only has access to internal data if a user explicitly copies data into a chat, meaning that, like Dustin was showing earlier, like in Excel or Word, right? You could theoretically go in there and copy some data and then go and then paste it in to Bing, right? But that would be the only way that Bing Chat Enterprise would be able to see any of your internal data, is if a user actually copied it and pasted it over, okay? Users, like I mentioned, sign into Bing Chat Enterprise with their Entra ID, their email address, right, which is used to authenticate the user and validate their license eligibility for Bing Chat Enterprise. So once they're signed into the browser on Bing, it's going to detect that they have Bing Chat Enterprise assigned to them, and then it'll give them the benefits of BCE. BCE can also be accessed from bing.com on any modern desktop or mobile browser using Copilot in Edge or using Copilot in Windows, which is now available. All right. Prompts and responses transit to the web to access Bing Chat, which is a connected experience external to Microsoft 365. and all data at a minimum is using TLS encryption 1.2. Okay. Now, the user chat session, this is where the user is having a conversation with Bing, right? This is where they're entering in that chat session data as de-identified and not associated with the user or their domain, which is then sent to the Bing chat orchestrator, right? The Bing chat orchestrator coordinates prompts and responses between the user and the large language model and triggers search queries for pre and post processing by the search index, all right? From there, chat session data is not used to train any underlying large language models. Once again, we want to be very clear about that. Your data is your data, all right? Bing Chat Enterprise uses multiple language models, including GPT-4 and DALL-E 3. These models are hosted in a private instance of Azure OpenAI. OpenAI does not have access to these models or the data processed by them, okay? Search queries ground prompts and responses in the large data from the Bing search index. Citations are added to responses to confirm data sources, right? So you always see those at the bottom. They got the little markings of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then the chat session data is de-identified and not associated with the user or their domain when sent to the Bing chat orchestrator. So let's repeat that one more time. Oh, keep clicking. I'm getting click happy, my bad. Chat sessions are maintained briefly during the chat session to ensure conversation continuity. This data is encrypted at rest using AES 128 encryption methods. After the chat session ends, prompts and responses are instantly discarded, right? So there's no marketing ID here. There's no harvesting of your data, right? All you have to do is assign a license to your user, right? Have them sign into Bing.com, and then they instantly get the benefits of Bing Chat Enterprise, which I think is a pretty easy deployment process for most organizations here. Now, I'll give you a quick little insight here, right? And I think this is really important. Now, being that there is no, there's not a lot of compliance requirements by a lot of organizations related to AI yet, they're kind of working through that, right? Microsoft has released a blog here. And this is the Copilot Bing Chat Enterprise announcement blog, right? Microsoft is so confident in this product for our customers and the privacy that it brings you that Microsoft is putting their money where their mouth is. If your organization is using Bing Chat Enterprise, and let's say that you get sued, right, for say compliance reasons, Microsoft will financially back your organization related to those legal issues, all right? Now, when we put a blog out there at Microsoft, right, that we're legally binded to that blog, right, as a company here, right? So this really helps out a lot of legal departments in organizations to feel more comfortable with using Bing Chat Enterprise, right, knowing that Microsoft is backing it. Microsoft is going to pay off legal fees, if any arise, due to Bing Chat Enterprise. But like I mentioned at the beginning of this segment, you already have data in the cloud with us, right? So that level of trust is already there. All this is doing is adding a cherry on top of your subscription, right? That adds another layer of security and privacy out in the public space here, okay? And that's really that's the whole purpose of Bing Chat Enterprise here. And like I said, if you're an E3 or E5 user, as you see here, these are the qualifying plans. So A3, A5 also get included. I know we've got some EDU people on the call here. And then it's also included with Business Standard and Business Premium. Anybody that does not fall into these SKUs, it is a $5 add-on, but I would say that most people do fall into these SKUs, except like your frontline workers, right? I'm not really sure if you would need your frontline workers to have this because they may not necessarily be dealing with sensitive information a lot of times, right? But definitely for your E3 and E5 users, this is sitting there today. You just got to turn it on, all right? Now, real quick, what I'll do here is let me show you what the actual experience looks like to close this out, all right? Bear with me. Share my other screen. So the mouse is acting a little wonky, bear with me. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my browser. All right. So first of all, let's open up an in private browser. right? So anybody that goes to Bing.com, this is the experience that they're going to be greeted with, right? You'll notice in the upper left-hand corner, nobody's signed in to Bing here, right? If I access chat on Bing, right, I can do any type of search that I want to, knowing that this is the consumer version of Bing chat, right? So anything that I put into here is going to be harvested, used for the large language models, right? So this is no good, for my organization. So once I turn on Bing Chat Enterprise, right? By the way, you do see in the tab at the top here, it does say GPT-4. So it lets you know which version it's using. But once you're signed in to Bing Chat Enterprise, do that in the upper right-hand area up here. And once you sign in, you're going to get a green protected logo that pops up, right? So it's that visual indicator to your end users that say, hey, I'm getting the benefits of Bing Chat Enterprise, right? So it doesn't matter if I'm looking for like a recipe on, cookies, I can do a search for that. Or if I go and I copy in some data from internally and I paste it in here to do a search on the web around that data, maybe I'm doing some research on some competitors or whatnot, I can plug that information in here too. It's not gonna, it's not gonna go anywhere, right? You're gonna get the response back, and then your search request was instantly discarded after that conversation was over, right? So you have this indicator here in the upper right-hand corner, letting your user know that they're getting Bing Chat Enterprise protection, right? When you have Copilot, you actually see in the upper left-hand area that you can actually hop between the Bing Chat Enterprise feature, right, and your Copilot business chat capabilities, right? So both of them will be available if you have both. If you're only utilizing Bing Chat Enterprise, you're only going to see Bing Chat. Okay. And that's really all there is to it, right? I'll be sharing out this slide deck with you. It's got some additional resources in here that you can click on to learn more about Bing Chat Enterprise, also how to get started and deploy it. Like I said, it's just a license that you enable for your users. So if you go into your licensing section, if you got an E3 user, it'll say Bing Chat Enterprise E3. If it's an E5 user, it'll say Bing Chat Enterprise E5 available for that user. So you just got to turn it on, deploy it, maybe configure a single sign-on for that user, and then they're good to go from that vantage point. So I want to say thank you to everybody for taking the time today to kind of run through Copilot, also get a taste of what Bing Chat Enterprise is today that you have access to. Highly recommend, if you have any more further interest in these products, please reach out to your account representative. We can schedule some calls with your organization to help hash out additional questions that you may have, or deployment strategies and additional features that are coming down the pipeline for Copilot.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sean. To kind of wrap things up here, moving forward, right? So how should you as enterprises prepare for Copilot, right? So when we talk about Copilot, there's not much as far as prereqs are concerned, right? So obviously the first one is going to be the Copilot license. So again, that is a user license, and it will be starting at $30 per user per month, right? To qualify to purchase said license, you have to have either an M365, E3, or E5 account assigned to said user, right? You have to be obviously enrolled with Azure Active Directory, and then in the current channel or monthly enterprise channel for your app updates. Other than that, it's up to your admin to essentially turn on Copilot for those users. Once you have it, it will then populate inside those applications I displayed today, right? So for you as the individuals are concerned, moving forward, what is your specifics when it comes to resources? What do I have at my fingertips? Well, the answer is a lot, right? And as Sean said, we'll share this information out, but there is tons of announcements we've made, including the blog Sean showed. There is some stuff as far as videos, help and how-to tutorials, some more like the items I showed you today. You also have some stuff for more of the IT admin side, right? So some all-up white papers, security assistance, things like that, as far as really digging into the weeds of how Copilot runs on the back end. And then finally, a lot of the questions we get today are, how are my end users going to be ready, right? Like, this is coming at me so fast, what do I have? Not only do we have some engineers that can be dedicated to you once you deploy Copilot, we also have some adoption information as well. With that, you have specifics for all of the apps, as far as what's available, what's coming, things like that. You also have handouts, right? Email notifications, flyers, printouts, things like that that you can share with your your cohort and your end users as well. So again, all of that will be available to you here once the decks are shared out. And with that being said, I just wanted to humbly thank you for joining us today. Make sure to hop into the next session in the coming weeks with my other colleagues, where they dive even deeper into more of the mechanics behind Copilot and how it can really transform your environment. So with that, thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.